Right, guys, pretty chilly this morning here, 12 degrees, and it's still nice and warm inside the house. And now, we get in September, we tend to get big differences in nighttime and daytime temperatures, and it's fantastic. What the time of the year for me is the best is September, October, and maybe half of November, maybe all of November. And, on the first snow. I always like the first snow. Anyway, always talk about the weather because it's quite important to me. And one thing I do almost every day is I go and open the front door and just look at the sky because I've worked outside all my life, so I tend to look at the what we're up against. And that's what I say to myself, go and see what we're up against. And then I go to the back door and have a look at the sky there. You can see a bit more of the sky there. And you usually tell what's coming along, actually, by just looking at what's moving and which way the clouds are going, all the rest of it. And it just, you get the feel for the day, Anyway, so I got an email off this guy, and he's in over the coast way, and he's been here for 20 years. George. His name's George St. Clair. And he's got this website. It's a good website, actually, for British foods. And I think he works with someone else who does the pies. Or he might do them, I don't know. I think it's for somebody else, but who they work together. But I haven't. I keep meaning to put an order in, but things happened. The time when I was going to put an order in, that's when I went to hospital and I got all the dental care. So I was a bit preoccupied, and it kind of slipped away. And then, so now I'm going to put an order in. Maybe I'll make it a Christmas hamper type thing, But you have some good stuff and stuff that you can't get. Because I can get most stuff here now, but there's certain stuff that I like that's on that website. And one of them is the Mayflower. I used to get them in Home Bargain. The Mayflower curry. It's like a curry powder, and it goes like it kind of goes crumbly and solid, but it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. And plum sauce, which has proved to be impossible to get. I can find most stuff, but plum sauce has evaded me. Even it was on one website, but they didn't have it, which was even more annoying. That's irritating. I was trying to put an order in with this place. It's in Sofia, and in the end, I just got fed up with them. And they slow to answer queries, or in the end, I just said, leave it. And actually, the guy, I put someone onto it, and they actually got an order through. But I won't go back there because it was just too tedious, And anyway, so I'm going to put an order in, and this place is called British Lion Food Store. British Lion Food Store, and I'm not plugging it. I just got an email off him, and I'll tell you why now. Because one thing I've said, if you're going to set up in Bulgaria and you want to do it slowly, like say you're approaching, like what's the name? Like I was, you're kind of approaching retirement. Well, I was and I wasn't. I was approaching paying my full pension to the 35 years, which I did a while ago now, over 6 years ago. So, so if you want to set up slowly, or you haven't really got a plan, or you want an address, which is very, very useful to get your address, you can do that with a ruin. You know, as long as that place is regulated and there's a property there, or there has been, still an address. It's, you know, and I knew some guy who did that as well, some American guy, and I said to him before Brexit, I said, go and get your card, go and get your residence card, and he did, actually. And the place, he said he got there, the place was falling down. Well, I said, well, that's could be a good thing, you know, because you don't have to worry about it. And that, it's kind of what the Udens have done. And if you look up them, Udens, off grid with the Udens, I think it's called Udens, Udens, and they've done exactly that. They bought a ruin on quite a big piece of land, and they've parked up a caravan on there, and their plan is to build a straw bale house, which they're just starting now. And that's an example of what you can do, start from scratch. But by buying a ruin, you can either rebuild the ruin or renovate it over the time, or build a new place on the footprint. I don't think they're building on the footprint, actually. I'm not quite sure, you know, where the planning comes in then. I thought you'd have to build on the footprint. But anyway, they know what they're doing anyway, hopefully. So anyway, this George St. Clair, he had a load of properties. I've offloaded all mine, but he's got a load of properties still in the coastal region. So if you're interested in the coastal region, Balchik, and I think the biggest city around there is Dobrich. And I actually went to Balchik last year, and it's nice place, seaside town. It's not like Sunny Beach, you know, kind of wild place. It's nice. It's just like the roads wind down to the front, and there's not much of a big seafront beach type. It's a port, but there is a beach either side along, and then you can go along the coast then, which is what we did. And it's quite wild then towards going towards Romania, which is where we were going, straight up to Yash. That's where we were heading. And we stayed in Balchik with these Russians who'd emigrated from Russia, obviously, from the north. They were from like the severe north, Murmansk area. And then they were in Balchik, which is a lot more, you know, temperate, you know, and nice views, because it's quite steep going down from the top of town going down, and there's everything you need there. Balchik, nice place. I would consider, if I was looking for a coastal area, I'd look at Balchik. I really would. Or further south, around the Stranja, towards the Turkish border. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't go to. And if you want a city, Varna, it's the best seaside city in Europe, in my opinion. The best. You won't get better than that. It's a city, but it's got its seaside, and you'd think, you know, it'd be highly polluted and all that, but it's not. And it's got a port as well. But the beach is where the city is. Fantastic. And it's got resorts. north and south, and you can be out in the wilds straight away. It's got an airport, Varna, fantastic. So George has got these properties of various stages, I think, of ruin. Anyway, so if you're interested in any property in Bulgaria, you can contact him. I did write back and say I'll mention it, but that's a good strategy to get if you want to do it over time and just get a foothold, or you've got some money lying around and you want to invest slowly, which is what I did. Well, I did and it didn't. I invested quite heavily actually over the years. So it's info at British Lion Food Store, all one word, British Lion Food Store .com. That's the email address. Get in touch, George. Okay. So I'll see if I can put it. I'll put it in the notes at the bottom, in the description. And he's got. I don't know what state these places are in or anything like that. But he'll tell you. He'll tell you what he's got. He did send me a link, but I'm not sure which properties. It was like on the Bulgarian properties.com. Would you have a look at that as well? And it's they're all around, I think, around the Balchik, Dobrich area. And it's a nice place, Balchik. And they've got some like high-end stuff. We didn't go all the way. There's this hotel, and I think it's like there's a lot of like things there, hidden away. It's like upmarket stuff, I don't know who owns all the stuff, There's a hotel. I think it's called the Victoria Princess or something. From memory, just something like that. I can't remember. We were only there for one night, passing through really. But we had a drive around and a little walk around. And then we were off then. We were on a Romanian tour really, but we just stayed there to springboard up to actually we went to another place first before Yash, which is spelt Iasi. That's quite a big city actually, like in Romania. And we went through Constanta and we stayed in a place called Tulcha, which is more or less on the Ukrainian border. And there's these fast boats and you go all the way along it's like the Danube Delta and the southern part of it. And then there's all these canals and they straightened one out after the one we went down. And they kind of dredged it and straightened it up. And there's various other waterways and people live there. And they go every day by the look of it. It's not cheap. I don't know how they afford that. And you go to the mouth. I can't remember what the place was called. And there's a lot of ships moored there. And it's quite run down, actually. And I'm thinking, well, where are all these people going? And obviously the customs people, they need everybody there. Doctors and whatever they are. And there's people, they get off on the way. And there's these places in the bushes, like the side of these rivers, the river. And I would think there'd be a lot of kind of mosquitoes in that. I don't know. It wouldn't be a place I would be looking at. Got Tulcha, and we stayed right at the place where these boats took off, and it was interesting, but it wasn't like when we got there. I thought like there's fuck all here, and there wasn't. There was hardly anything there, and we went into this cafe, and there was these guys there, and I was thinking, where are these from? And I said to him, where are you from? And he said, Sri Lanka. And he came with an agency, like, so they were like agency workers, and they were running this cafe. It was pretty good, actually, and we had a bit to eat and a good chat with them, And I was thinking, how did you end up here? From Sri Lanka, And in the middle of it, I said, have you got internet and everything? He said, yeah. And they had kids. The kids were with them. I said, but where'd you stay here? Like, and he said, oh, yeah. And that's one thing. He said, oh, the property's cheap. And we got a good flat and everything. He said, we're happy, Yeah, they were happy. And that's where they were from, Sri Lanka. Anyway. And then we went back on the boat, that fast boat, and there's loads of them. And there's a big ferry, actually, as well. And I don't really know what the attraction is. I thought there was nothing there, really. Couple of shops, and pretty run down as well. And over the river was even more run down. Looked like an old gulag, something. Or like a port buildings. I don't know what they were, but anyway. Or maybe the crews of ships and stuff like that on these boats. And there was plenty of them. We were always passing boats all the way. And they have the big motors on the back, the Yamahas and all that, the 200s and that. These are powerful engines. And it's like a fast boat, and they're like long, and we've got all the plastic windows. Some of them have got perspex windows. When I said to our road trip manager, let's get on this one on the way back because you can see out the windows better. Anyway, that's where we went, Tulcha, and then up to Yash, and then right across country we went. Right the way across to Cluj, Napoca, and then straight down, due south. It almost brings you back to here. From Cluj, Napoca, it's almost due north from here. And there's a ferry. There's two ferries. There's one at Nikopol, and we came over on the other one, which I've been on a couple of times actually, which is Balchik. I don't know whether it was said that correctly. Probably haven't. That's how it's spelt, Balchik. And Orayovo is the Bulgarian side. And it was fantastic when we arrived. And we got waved through by this wagon driver, and he said, go through. And the thing was just, they were just pulling up the ramp on the ferry. Just pulling up the ramp, and he saw us come to the top of they have this great big slipway type thing, and they were pulling it up, and the next ferry wasn't till about 2-3 hours later. Anyway, there's a guy on the back, and he waved to us, and he put the ramp back down and let us on. I mean, you wouldn't get that on like, Dover or anything like that. And he put the ramp, quite a big boat, and he put the ramp back down and called us on. And these all the wagon drivers go on, go, and he's letting you on. Just as they were pulling away, I don't even know whether he'd tied the ropes back up, just down on the boat. And the way they do it, it's like you drive around like a roundabout on the ferry, and we just managed to turn the Yeti round, and we were first off on the other side. I mean, straight on the ferry, didn't have to wait. And then straight off, and we were first off. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I actually drove through at the top. You get these tickets and that. There's a ticket office and all the rest of it. But you then go to another place, and I drove straight through. And the guy was screaming, he said, "Come back." But you had to give the ticket to him. I don't know why, I don't know why. Maybe he was the police and the other place was just a ticket office. I don't know why you don't pay the ticket and then you're off. Anyway, he was shouting, and then straight back to here. We were home from Craiova. We were back here by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Fantastic. The ferry was great. What a stroke of luck. Anyway, and it was miserable that there was raining from Craiova all the way to Plevin. You'd end up in Plevin, and then it brightened up then. So anyway, if anyone's interested, and it's a good way of doing it, if you want a slow burn or you want to start from scratch, Bulgaria, have a look at these ruins, what George has got, or I think he's got other properties as well, which are livable. I'm not sure. George St. Clair, British Lion Foods. BritishLionFoodStore.com. Info at BritishLionFoodStore.com. And but I'm going to be putting an order in there. But my yearly budget, I'm at the limit now for this year, and I'll just wait. But if I get up to Christmas, without any more unexpected, what's his name? And I'm going to buy some more wood as well. I'm just putting this wood in, which I'm going to do now any second after this. I'm going to go and get the next batch of wood in for today. I've got me what's his name? Target for the day. And that's what we'll be doing now. So it'll be worth a look, especially if you want a coastal region area. I don't know whether any of these are on seafront. I have no clue. So it's no good asking me or commenting, because I don't know anything about it except that he's got properties there, and I don't know the prices or anything. So contact, and he'll send you the links probably to the properties. He did send me a link, but I don't know whether all the properties were his or not. I don't know. It's just a lead, shall we say, from my point of view. I don't know the guy. But I know he's been around for a long time, Bulgaria, same amount of time as me. I think I've been here 22 years now. Not full time, but he's been full time 20 years. And, anyway, so good luck if you're gonna, it's still a great place to head for if you want to get out of the UK. And I would think for a lot of people, it's the only solution now, is get out of the UK. Even if you've got to start from scratch. I don't know. The Udens, they've done it by doing online income. I think one of them does it for follow-up technical follow-up for some company. And I'm not sure what the wife does. She does something online as well. But anyway, and they seem to be getting by. And the kids, what a place for the kids. The kids and the little kids driving driving a digger, and he's got a quad bike. Little kid. What a life for a kid. Bulgaria. Anyway, and they'll be talking Bulgarian, hopefully, if they send him to the Bulgarian school. I don't know exactly the location where they are, but it's not round here, down the other end. I think that I'm not sure where they are. I think it's more like southeast. Anyway, if you watch the Udens, you probably find out where they're from. They did say the towns around, but it wasn't really taking much notice. Anyway, but it's a good channel, and they're pioneers. That's that's the way to do it. On a low budget, and they're doing well, fantastic, and they're loving every minute. Okay, cheers.